Are you ready? It's time for the Beastcast.
Welcome to the Beastcast, episode 44. Raven, should we make the intro shorter?
Nah, it's perfect.
You like it being 30 seconds?
Yeah, it's perfect, bro.
It does. It gives me time to formulate thoughts. Like the movie The Croods. I have an idea.
Yeah.
The first idea ever known, man. But yeah, welcome to the Beastcast, episode 44. I'm here with Raven.
What up?
Raven knows the drill. So this was a pretty crazy week. And there's a lot that happened, but I think we need to talk about less of what happened and more so of what we've seen. So, Raven, I guess I didn't get to ask you, but I figured we might as well just jump into it right away. Dune 2. Because I think this could probably take us a whole segment to talk about.
No, I didn't watch it.
Ooh. Damn.
But you're free to talk about it.
Yeah, you're free. No more chains and shackles. You're done.
I'm pretty sure there's really nothing in there that you can spoil that would take away from the experience.
True. Okay, so that's what I was gonna get at. Okay, so by the way, spoiler alerts for everybody. Low key, I might actually, I'm seriously thinking about dropping these on Mondays, but the problem with dropping the Beastcast on Monday is then I actually have to do work on Sundays, and I don't like that. Considering that I already have a podcast that drops on Mondays, Career Pathways podcast, go check that out. But yeah, if this dropped on Monday, it'd make more sense. But I don't know, Raven, what do you think, first off, before we get into this discussion? What do you think, Mondays or Wednesdays? What do you like better? I feel like Wednesday's almost too far, Like, that's the problem that I always had with Wednesdays.
I mean, it can drop on Mondays.
Because, okay, so here was the original thought process behind it was, when we were part of, well, we still are, but like when KILT was doing a bunch of stuff, with a bunch of other like radio shows and stuff like that, we couldn't really drop on Mondays because Mondays were kind of packed. But since the program has been completely redone, we're basically like one of the only shows that has survived the purge. So and that's because it's a solo ran show, like I run it, so we still run it through KILT because the ones that KILT was producing, they're pretty much dunzo bunzos. The only ones that survived was my podcast with the Career Pathways and this. So we survived the purge, but now that we survived the purge, we get to reap the rewards. You know how like in the United States, like we're free. Now we get to build our own nation. So like building our own nation, we can do whatever day we want, to release this. And I like Mondays because the thing is we record these on Saturdays. So the problem with Wednesdays is it's almost too far in the week, and then the news isn't necessarily... The problem with the 21st century is news cycles are so short now. Like, news cycles used to be weeks. Like, stories would develop... Like, how even, like, up until, like, 10 years ago, stories would develop over the course of, like, 4 or 5 days, and then, like, it would come out, and... But now it's, like, everything, boom! Breaking news, boom, breaking, and then the next thing breaks, and then it's like nobody cares about the thing that just broke before, so.
That's why we cover a slew of topics.
See, but yeah, that's why we cover a slew of topics, but I feel like if it released on Mondays, it would just make more sense, because then there's less of a time period for things to just fully, like, happen, that we're gonna miss.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind Mondays.
Yeah. So, Raven, do you think that will inevitably be our downfall as a society?
What? The news cycles?
No, not news cycles. Just like getting information so fast.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw something crazy. Hold on, I gotta readjust my mic. I saw the craziest thing. As I'm gonna talk about this as I'm readjusting my mic. Okay, so I saw the craziest thing. For the first time in my life, I saw somebody with an Apple Vision Pro on their head in public. I'm not even kidding. I wish, like, I'm being whole honest here. God damn, this mic is fucking, it's stuck. What is it stuck on? the fuck? Hold on, I gotta get up. Ah! Okay. There we go. Now it's moving. But, there we go. Okay, so here's the problem. It's so weird seeing people with these Apple Vision Pros, dude. Like, because, like, okay, so I saw somebody in public for the first time with an Apple Vision Pro on. In public.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't like it. Like, I thought it would be cool, you know, like, oh, you know, the Apple Vision Pro, like, but when you actually see it in person, bro, I don't know, man. I don't really like it. I think it needs to be a little smaller or more concealable, like glasses. Like, the technology is definitely getting there, but we need, like, glasses. Like, I'm talking glasses.
I saw a funny clip of a couple peeps in Japan. Japan has like robots that serve your table and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's a Star Wars movie. Somebody put a Apple Vision on top of the robot's face, somehow strapped it to their head, and the thing went like crazy mad because it didn't know what was going on. It was so funny, bro.
But here's the thing, like, people are like, oh, I was just driving with my Apple Vision Pro, and I'm like, wait, why are you driving with your Apple Vision Pro on? Well, you know, it's not illegal. I was like, are you sure? Because last time I checked, the law is very tentative, okay? Which means that it's easy to change the meaning of the law when it comes to driving laws, because they knew shit like this was going to happen. So the driving laws basically say, like, any type of digital distraction is an illegal, you know, form of, you can't use it. Which means that is a digital, so that checks both of them. It's a distraction and it's digital. So I'm pretty sure, like, under U.S. law, those things are illegal to drive with. So I think people, if you're thinking about driving with your Apple Vision Pro, you might want to think twice. Because...
Yeah, I don't like it that people are wearing them while they drive.
Well, yeah,
because you can't guarantee that they're having the Apple Vision Pro clear their vision of everything to be able to see.
Yeah, well, also, like, they're like, well, I don't even have anything on. Then take it off.
Yeah, save the battery. Take it off. I heard those things don't have a long battery. Why do you need it while you're driving?
Yeah, well, people are like, oh, well, you know, I have to put it, you have to, like, connect it to, like, some stupid cord, and you got to put it in your pocket. And I'm like, but, dude, I think it's hilarious because people will be like, well, dude, I don't even have anything on, bro. Like, I'm just driving with it. I'm like, okay, well, then just take it off your head, turn it off, and drive. But you don't get it, bro. It's like, what do you mean I don't get it?
We're in the future, bro. Quit acting like a boomer.
Yeah, bro. Like, you need to...
I can't wait till South Park makes an episode on this.
I know. People are driving around with their little Apple Vision Pros on. But, dude, the Apple Vision Pros are fucking... They're massive. And I saw some guy... Okay, so this is where I saw it at, right? Okay, so I was going to the movie theater, and across from the movie theater, it was like this, like, walking district, you know, like one of those, I'm all for those millennial walking districts, like I think they're really cool, like the ones where it's like no vehicles, it's just all businesses and stuff.
Yeah.
I like those. And there was one of those, and there, I'm not even kidding, there was a guy sitting at a table outside of this, like, restaurant bar thing at like 8:30, and he had an Apple Vision Pro on his head. I was like, man, you better be careful, dude. Somebody's going to come around and fucking snatch that shit off your head and run. Like, dude.
The dude's got, I don't know if it's stupidity or balls to do that.
I was going to say, dude, that's like, what, $2,000 sitting on your face, bro?
Yeah.
You got, out in public, you got to be fucking crazy. Like, dude, I wouldn't, but, dude, I know people who would fucking snatch that shit right off your fucking face, bro.
Hell, I would. I was just...
Dude, I mean, I was gonna say, dude, I don't even want the Apple Vision Pro shit. I'll sell it.
Exactly. Free money. Dude sitting there just be like, yoink, mine. It's the morning. Didn't have your coffee yet. I'm good. I got more energy than you.
Oh, whoops. You're drunk? Oh, here, let me take this off your head for you. Yoink. This microphone is still ticking me off. I'm messing.
I remember a time where you actually had to go to a computer to do computer things.
Okay, Grandpa. Let's get you to bed.
I had to do that. I had to do my boomer impression. Because that's exactly how we're going to sound when we're 70.
Ah, shit, dude. That's how I'm going to sound when I'm fucking 30 at this point. 30
Bro, I do turn 30 this year. I'm going to have to sound like that.
Dude, the 30 is the new 70, man. Didn't you get the memo?
I remember the day when you were lucky to have a 1 gigabyte flash drive.
Yeah, dude, I used to be like, damn, people who are 30 are young, but like everybody around me is like, nah, dude, people who are 30 ancient. I'm like, what? Motherfucker, you don't know nothing about life. You're 13. Actually, I did have some kids say that. We have a professor. He's so old. Oh my god, he's so ancient. He's 33 years old. And I was like, damn, that's really young. And somebody in class goes, how old are you? And he was like, well, you know, I'm 33. And he goes, I just turned 33 in January. And they were like, what? You're 33? And like all these kids can believe it because they're like, dang, dude. Like you look like you're 24. Like how are you? Like what the hell? And they couldn't believe it. They thought this guy was like younger. And he was like, well, guys, I'm not that old. And they're like, I don't know. That's like, dude, you see some of these professors around here, man? They be pushing 70.
Yeah, bro, you're already at half your lifespan. You're old.
Yeah, you're done, dude. Dude, you got so little life to live, man.
How do I know the dementia is not sitting in? Come on.
Fucking me? Nah, I'm chilling. I'm 13 years old, so I still have fucking 78 years. All right, buddy, your planet's not even going to be here in 78 years, motherfucker, so enjoy it, because you're ruining it.
Enjoy space, because you're going to be the...
I was going to say... Enjoy cold nothingness for the rest of your life after fucking
You're going to be
50.
part of the plot of Lost in Space. Hope you find Alpha Centauri.
I think that's how these boomers act, like, actually, when they think about these kids, bro. Because they're like, oh, they're so fucking entitled and stupid, I'm just going to ruin the planet. Like, that's at this point what I'm thinking is happening. Because I have no other justification on why people are just douchebags. Other than they just entitlement. But also, I love that entitlement bullshit. How every generation thinks that the generation below them's entitled.
I think there was a good saying I heard. It was every generation thinks that they're better than the one that came before and better than the one that is coming after them.
Yep. Yeah. The baby boomers be like, yeah, my father fought in World War II, but I had to deal with gays.
Boomers are the people who can't get out of the shadow of their fathers.
Facts.
And then they want to cry about millennials
Facts.
and Zoomers being entitled when all they did was create rock and roll and start the biggest drug movements ever, thinking that they could fight against the government in the exact same way. They make fun of the millennials for doing it.
Facts.
And think that it's not hypocrisy.
Spit your shit.
And I'm not even trying to like fully hate on every single one of the boomers because some of them turned out good, right? But we got people who are all like, hey, look at these millennials thinking they're so entitled, and then they run around listening to Bad to the Bone. Like, shut the hell up. You're not cool.
Dude, I was listening to Bad to the Bone earlier, actually.
Motorcycle gangs that did the same type of crap they blame thug gangs for doing. Like, bro, stop it. You weren't any better. You were the people who did nothing but get high on acid. Do you all remember Woodstock? If Zoomers did that today, you'd be all over on your Facebook page going, what does the world come to? Shut the fuck up. Your parents did not die in World War II for you to be the biggest entitled brats I've ever seen in my life and then sell the entirety of the future of your future generations to other third world countries in China. And then blame about them not having good jobs that pay well. Shut up.
Facts, dude. They sold everything. Well, you don't understand, dude. If the United States had all those jobs still. Well, if the United States had all those jobs still, we wouldn't have to worry about people being fucking on minimum wage. So, because everybody would be, it'd be minimum wage.
They wouldn't even need minimum wage.
Everybody'd be working, so it's all right. But no, I love how that's the biggest thing I think is the best part about America, and this is particularly America. And I guess there's some other countries, like I know France had a problem with this too, but it's like these people, they get upset that they gave all of our jobs away, right? Okay, So you actively gave our jobs to companies. You actively let these companies take the jobs away from, United States citizens, right? Like Nike, Apple, stuff like that, and make it sweatshops. Yeah, they're more efficient. You get more phones, but if it worked in the United States, it'd be way more jobs. Then they have a problem when immigrants come into the country and then start like taking low-level jobs, and they're like, "This is bullshit. They're taking our fucking jobs," and it's like, motherfucker, you gave away fucking a fourth of our jobs to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to complain that somebody else is taking low-level jobs like concrete and McDonald's? Like, as far as I'm aware, last time I checked, you're not working at McDonald's, are you? Okay. Are you working at Are you working on concrete work when you're 75? No. Okay. Are you retired, living off Social Security? Okay. Well, you know what? Your Social Security is going to be gone in like 10 years, but you know what? It's all right because you're the ones who chose to take everything away. So.
And you want to know something fucked up? Yeah, and you want to know something fucked up? Here's the thing. There wouldn't be a problem of them coming across the border and taking our jobs if you didn't give away all the jobs in the first place. All the jobs they gave away, all the factory jobs, all the assembly line jobs, all the stuff, by the way, that kids go to college for, to get a job for, aren't available because you gave them all away. So that's another reason why kids sit around having college debt, because some of these things they went to college for aren't available because all of them are being shipped overseas or given to the next dude who crosses the border at almost half the wage, and that's what's keeping wages so stagnant. But if they would have managed their companies properly and actually cared about the generation coming after them, probably wouldn't have this problem.
See, and here's the best part that I think, and this, you know what, this all will play back into Dune too, I promise, okay? But I think this is really interesting of a topic because we don't talk about this a lot, so I think it's good to talk about this. But the thing that I also think is really interesting about like the border thing, and we talked about this, funny enough, with that same professor who is so ancient at 33 years old, we had him on the other podcast. You could go watch it. It was amazing. And he was talking about the border crisis. But the thing that he said was interesting is the United States is starting to see a decline in birth rate too, which is another interesting thing, because what's going to happen in 30 years when, our birth rate keeps declining? So instead of having 2.1 children per family, it's now, 1.3, or hell, almost even 1. Now, what's going to happen is when all these boomers die, which make up almost, I think, a seventh of the United States' population, when they die in 30 to 40 years, we're going to be left with this very stagnant, low population. Not like super low. Like, I'm talking, we're probably going to lose maybe like 30, 40, 50 million in total, because because for every 5 boomers that dies, there's 1 child that's born in 2024. So that's not a good rate. Normally, you want it to be 4 to 5. So for every 5 that die, there should be 4 that come before, or hell, even higher. Usually, countries usually hit for higher. So actually, for every 6 that is born, there's 5 that die. That way, there's an extra 1 to keep up the slack. So what happens now when tragedies happen? People die. So now every once in a while, that 1 becomes 0. Like we're now having 0 to 5. So that means that we're gonna start losing population, and then people are going to be pissed because nobody's going to be able to work fucking McDonald's. So now you have 2 options in 30 years. You either can let robots run it, or you can let immigrants run it, or, I guess there's option C, you could try to fuck really quickly and have a bunch of kids. So what do you want to do, really? And that's why I don't think the immigrant situation is necessarily a bad problem, because I think further down the line, some of these jobs that people are pissed that immigrants that are taking, like McDonald's and stuff like that, when all these people start dying, and they have less people to work them, they're going to be in a situation with Japan, where Japan has like so many things and so many people, but they're also old. So now you see a lot of these shops being either ran by people who can barely fucking move, or by like 1 young person who's having to do the job of 20 people. So that's what's going to happen in the United States, which is why I think personally everybody should just start fucking. But I mean, I'm fine if people don't want to have sex. Like, we're becoming less of a sex culture, less of having kids, and it's smart to not have kids at such a young age. I think people are actually smarter, because everybody be like, oh, kids are so dumb these days. Well, kids are not having children at 14 or 15 or 16 anymore. They're having kids at 25, 26. They're waiting until they're married and have jobs, which is nice. So I'm
And
all,
sadly, they have no choice because of how the wages are working in businesses
Yeah.
and high prices.
I was gonna say when my grandpa, my grandpa tried to make this argument. Funny enough, shout out to grandpa, I love him, but he tried to make this argument that like, oh well, we had kids at 18 or I think it was actually 20. I don't remember. He had my aunt when either at like 18 to 20, that range. Okay, my mom had my sister when she was like 19. So, but the thing was even when my mom was 19, which would have been like 2002 or yeah, something like that. I don't remember when my sister's birthday is, low key, but I know the day, I just don't know the year. But so she was born, and even back then, you know, my dad could get a job where he could actually be able to rent out a house. You know, like my mom and my dad could both get a job and if they both got a job, they could pay for a babysitter and rent out a house or an apartment, I guess more so. But they
Yeah,
can
you
still
can
do
get
that.
a job selling VCRs out of the back of a van and support an entire mortgage.
I was gonna say, but in today's society, you can't really do that. You have a couple options. The middle class is so gone now. The middle class is so, it's either you're poor or you're considered high middle class to wealthy. There is no like lower middle class really at all. Like yeah, it's weird. So that is interesting, and I think that all comes down to like I'm personally me personally, I think we need to have better immigration programs. Actually, funny enough, you know, shout out to I shouldn't say shout out to DT. I'm not the biggest fan of Donald Trump, but he actually had a plan that was kind of interesting that actually Biden still supported too, and it's a points program, kind of like what Australia does. I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
So Biden and Trump both are supportive, but Congress won't pass it, of making a points program for immigrants. Basically, immigrants can get into the country based off of a point system. So, for example, you get ranked on points based off of certain things. For example, your job currently in your country, your accomplishments for your country. So, for example, like if let's say like you're Mexican, right? And you go to the Olympics and you're a track runner and you get the gold medal, buddy, you could get a visa right now and you could live in the United States. Okay, stuff like that. That's how Australia does it, right? Like immigrants, for people who want to immigrate and come into the country, they need to have a point system. So basically, what country are you immigrating from? Okay, Mexico. Okay, you know, that's kind of lower on the point system because there's so many people that are trying to get in. Okay, but what type of job did you have? Oh, before you moved to Mexico, you're moving away from Mexico because of the cartel. You actually had a decent, semi-well-paying job in like some sort of business. Okay, that gets you hella brownie points. You know, that gets you a lot of points. Okay. Oh, you have a family and you have a working like mother and you have a child who's of working age. Okay, well now you get way more points. And then from there, you can basically get visas like that. Instead of just being like, you're on a wait list for 31 years. Come back June 17th, 1900,000 years from now. Okay, but now we can talk about Dune, because this all plays back into Dune, because Dune was very political. Not like to our politics, but it was cool politics. It was space politics.
Ooh, yeah.
So Dune 2, okay, even after my little honeymoon phase, which is basically of 2 days ago, even after the honeymoon phase, man, this movie was great. All right, spoilers, sorry. We need to get like a little thing that just says spoiler alert. But yeah, so spoiler alert, there's spoilers everywhere around you all the time. You can't hide from them. So, but yeah, so Dune 2 was amazing. Dune
Really?
2, yes, Dune 2 was great. Now, this was a question that I immediately got asked on Friday, was it better than Dune 1? In my opinion, yes. I had a friend who told me it wasn't, which he's wrong to me. He said that Dune 1 was better, and it was because, and get this, I shit you not, he said it was better because he didn't like Arrakis. I was like, buddy, that's the whole point of the movie. The whole point of the movie is on the planet Arrakis, buddy. Like, even, that's like why it's called Dune. That is literally why it's called Dune.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a sand shithole.
Yeah, like, what the... But, so he was like, yeah, I liked it better when you could see all the space and stuff like that. I was like, you can still see a decent amount of that in this one, too. He's like, yeah, but it was... Okay, so, the other thing that I thought was really interesting, and Raven, we had this discussion about a week ago. Austin Butler. So Austin Butler is kind of a shitter, but in this movie, you know, he actually did pretty good. I'm gonna be honest. He actually did good for, I think, probably the first time in his life, probably in a role. I don't know what other role he did. Oh, I guess he did play in he played Tex in what's it called? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But other than that, he did pretty good. And he hasn't done any other good roles to me. So he played, so people, here's the hype that people I thought was interesting, first off. And then we'll get into like the whole story of it. But people were saying that Austin Butler's character was on the level of villainous as the Joker from The Dark Knight and Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. Is that true? To me, there's a few factors that I always look at when ranking a villain. Number one, does the villain have a purpose? What is the villain's purpose? So every villain should have a purpose. If your villain doesn't have a purpose, then there's no reason he should be a villain, right? That's what they always tell you when you're writing. If a villain has no motive, there's no reason for him to be a villain because he's beyond a villain. So like somebody like Anton Chigurh almost kind of gets that fine line, right? Where Anton Chigurh is damn near like he's beyond a villain because he's so like, his motives are so, weird. But there are motives there, so it still makes him a villain. This is kind of the problem I run into with this character, is his motives. What are his motives throughout the film? So, the character that Austin Butler plays, I'll pull up the whole Dune cast here. So, part 2 cast. So, there's a few kind of crazy things. So, number one, Austin Butler's character is the son of the what's his name? Baron Vladimir Harkin. So he's like the main like bad guy from the last film, right? Where like he was like, he was kind of, what's it called? Oh, God, like I guess he's kind of like a static villain, right? Okay, so he's kind of like he's kind of like a static villain because he doesn't actually ever engage with the main character, but he's like causing the problems, right? So his family and his army is causing the problems in Dune 1. So in Dune 2, the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, he has completely taken over the planet again, right? So he has completely taken over the planet, and now his cousin, or I guess, sorry, not his cousin, his nephew, which is played by Austin Butler, now needs to go and do this, right? So, yeah. So, I think it's kind of interesting because his motives are basically, oh, my uncle wants me to do this, so I'm gonna do this, and he's kind of crazy, but I thought here's the thing I'll say before we move on from to the next, well, not move on, but before we continue this in the next segment, I want to say that I think the character itself looked cool and Austin Butler actually played it well. It's just like I feel like this came down to writing, funny enough, and this is the first time I think this has ever probably been said about an Austin Butler about an Austin Butler character, but it was probably more than likely the writing that I think caused me to be so torn on him. And that's where we'll end it for now, and we'll talk about it when we continue with the next segment. All right, welcome back to the Beastcast, episode 44. Where we left off, we were talking about Dune. So, continue on with our Dune masquerade. So, Austin Butler is not in the first film either, by the way. I want to point that out. So his character is supposed to be like this psychotic, crazy villain, and to a degree, I think it works. But here's the problem: is like I was trying to think about is writing. I understand that Dune is a very long series. Like Dune is like 6 very big, hefty, like chapter books, right? Like novel. Okay, I understand that, and so I get it's hard to condense it into 3 movies because he's only going to condense it into 3 movies. Um, it's gonna be Dune 1, Dune 2, and then the third one's actually gonna be called Dune Messiah. But the problem that I have is I understand they were crunched for time, but still, I didn't see Joker style of villainy from Austin Butler's character. I definitely could see how people would think that, but if you really look at it, the character is not quite to that level. And here's the thing that I was even thinking about in the theater was the pacing, because they have to cover so much. It does get jumpy a little bit and things kind of just happen. And for example, okay, so Timothée Chalamet's character Paul Atreides, he is supposed to be like the Duke of Arrakis, right? But a lot of the people, so this is like kind of the whole conflict of the movie, is a lot of the actual Fremen, like the people on the like the people native to the planet, do not fuck with him. Like they think he's not the Messiah, they think he's not him, like they don't think he is, you know, the outsider who will lead them to paradise. And so his mother is trying to convince him throughout the film that they need to like really he needs to utilize like them and become like the Duke, because the moment he can, then they can control the planet. Because everybody has like, so, and you can tell everybody has such like, the characters have such conflicting views of each other. Like there's a bunch of the Fremen people believe that Timothée Chalamet's character Paul is the Messiah, like he is him. And there's like a bunch of stuff that's happening throughout the film, and eventually, spoiler alert, by the end of the film, he pretty much has convinced all but Zendaya's character that he is the Messiah, and it's because he drank this worm piss. So this is kind of crazy. I know this is fucking this is nasty, right? So there is this, so you know the big dune worms, right? The big sandworms.
Yeah.
Okay. So in these sandworms, there's this liquid. There's this blue liquid. They call it, the Fremen call it the water of life. And people, it's basically just poison, by the way. Spoiler alert. It's just basically a poison, right? So if you can drink the poison and stay alive after the poison has gone through your body, you can basically, your mind like opens up. Like it's basically like taking drugs, right? So his mother, so the Fremen are like, okay, your mother, she either is going to die or she has to drink this shit. Well, little do they know that she is actually part of this, like, I don't know if you've seen Dune 1, but she is part of, like, this group of women who control, like, they're like a secret organization, like old women who control, like, the secret organization that are trying to control the universe, right? So she actually has a bunch of powers. So, like, for example, one of her powers just so happens to be, kind of funny for the plot, just so happens to be able to manipulate water in her body, which means that she could manipulate the poison around, like, vital areas, and so she could just, like, you know, drink it. And so she drinks it and does that, and then she becomes, like, open to like, life, quote-unquote, but this stuff is, like, really dangerous. And you can kind of see that this is kind of happening, and this is what's going to be the big conflict of the third movie, is this water of life is all either a lie or it's very dangerous. Like the entities that are talking to you throughout the water of life are very like evil. They have like a bad goal. For example, the Paul's mother is actually pregnant with the father who's now dead from the last movie, his kid. And so when she drinks it, the baby then gets it too. And so now we have like this like evil entity that's going to be like really smart now, like this basically like I'm talking like baby from like 2001 A Space Odyssey, right? Like this crazy shit. And so now like that's going to happen, and there's all like this evil shit. So she tries to convince Paul to drink it, and he does not want to drink it at all because he doesn't want to be like that. He almost damn near doesn't want to be the Messiah. But eventually Zendaya's character, which funny enough I think is ironic because she's the one that's like, oh, you need to go south into the dunes and you need to drink it, and then we can take back the planet. And then as soon as he does that, he becomes like really aggressive, and he's like, I am the Duke of Arrakis, and he becomes like really, like, this is my planet now, and I'm your messiah, right? And then Zendaya is like, nah, I don't fuck with you anymore because of it, because you drank the liquid. And I was just like, dang. Because so then when he becomes like the Duke, right? So there's like all this conflict going on, and then Austin Butler's character, I guess I should just say this. Austin Butler's character, like, he doesn't come in. I was like, dang, bro, when is this guy gonna come in? He doesn't come in until like 50 minutes into the movie. And he finally shows up at like the 50-minute mark, and he's like in this like arena, and he like kills he kills like all these guys. And then like they're like, we need to test him, because if Paul might be going off the schizo end, so we need to test him to see if we can like if he can become like the next messiah guy for our race, because these group of women believe that there's a guy who will lead them to like this not victory, but will lead them to like their new government and their new like control over the world, like over the known universe, I guess. Sorry, not the world. Over the known universe. And so they're like, well, if Paul is going schizo, we need a new guy. And so they're like, all right, go and check out this guy. And so he goes and fights, and then they test them with the little put your hand in the box thing. And he actually is like loving the pain, because he's like a psychopath, like he's a schizo, like he's basically like a fuck, he's worse than Paul when it comes to like being crazy. And so like he loves pain. So like he literally puts his hand in the box and just starts laughing, because it's so easy to him. And he's really crazy. So then the Baron Harkonnen is like, you know what? These stupid Paul, and he doesn't know it's Paul yet, because a lot of people don't know it's Paul. The only people that know that Paul's still alive are like this group of women, and eventually the Emperor at the end, which by the way I thought was really funny, because I don't know if you saw who the Emperor was played by, but I thought it was kind of funny who they had play the Emperor. Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken. But so anyways, funny enough, he doesn't actually speak a lot in the movie. He has showtime of maybe 7 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, but it's all like non-talking. So anyways, Austin Butler's character, Vladimir Harkonnen, goes to him and is like, you know what? He goes, these stupid Fremen are destroying our spice trade, and I've had enough, okay? Because we can't get any spice out, and now the Emperor is going to take the planet away from us again, because we can't get the damn spice trade down. So what are we going to fucking do? What are we going to do? And he goes, so I'm going to give the planet to you, my nephew, and you're gonna go in and stop all this shit. And he goes, yeah, I'll do it. And so he like Dave Bautista, he bitches Dave Bautista's character. Like Dave Bautista apparently and him are brothers, and like he's the baby brother to Dave Bautista's character. And Dave Bautista gets mad, and he's like, this is bullshit. And Austin Butler's character just bitches him, and I thought that was kind of funny. And so then Austin Butler's character is like, well, the only way we're gonna get the spice trade back is if we just conquer the north and push them all south. So he just takes these big ass ships and just starts blowing up like everything that's not the spice fields, and he forces all of them to go south, which actually, funny enough, forces Paul's hand to end up going south as well to drink the liquid, the worm pea. But he once they conquer the north, then right, they push them all south. Well, this forces a massive congregation. So now, like, Paul easily becomes the Messiah because he like survives the worm piss. He rides like a big like a worm too. Like he rides like a massive sandworm and stuff. And then he like, since he can see the future and he can see the past and he can see all this shit now, like he can see that he's actually a Harkonnen too. And that his mother was actually like the daughter of the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. And I was like, what the fuck? And that was like out of nowhere. And then he like, since he's able to like damn near read minds and shit, because he's just like powerful, he reads this one guy's mind, and it like convinces everybody that he's the Messiah, and they're like, it's the Messiah, and they like all like bow to him, and he's like, oh, I am Duke of Arrakis. And then he goes like this. He goes, and we shall now call it by its original Fremen name, Dune. Dune, and everybody like freaks out. And they're like, he knows it. He's the Messiah, you know. And it's like they're freaking out, and then the mother is like, she's like evil now. Like, so she's like evil. She has like all this like satanic like, you know how like people, like when you think of satanic people, you think of like writing on their face and shit like that. Like she has that stuff on her face. So she has that. Hold on. Box 767. Sorry, my mother is texting me, and this is very important. 7250. Okay. So yeah. So then, like at the end of it, we find out that this one guy. So there's like two main big guys of the Atreides like war department basically, which was Josh Brolin's character who trained Timothy Chalamet, and then Duncan Idaho, who was like the guy who dies in the first film. So Josh Brolin character is actually still alive, right? So Josh Brolin's character, he comes back and he's like, yeah, you know, this is crazy. He goes, I'll you are my lord, I'll fight for you. And he's like, damn right you will, you know. And so then, he tells Paul, Timothy Chalamet's character, he's like, yo, we have nukes on the planet. Your father brought the arsenal. And Timothy Chalamet's character is like, no way. Like, this is crazy. And then Zendaya's character is like, no, you can't do it. You can't do it. I don't know about all this. And he goes, hey, I love you. And she goes, okay. So then, they like hatch this plan to get the Emperor on the planet. So they manage to send him a message, and they're like, listen, motherfucker, I'm Paul Atreides. Okay. I am the Duke of Arrakis, now known Dune, and we're fucking shit up. And we're going to destroy all the spice fields if you don't get your ass here. And then the Baron knows that the Emperor's coming because he can see a ship. So he basically tells like all the other massive families, because there's like the Harkonnens and the Atreides, and there's like a bunch of other big massive families that like have big armies and shit like that run like the entire universe. And he's like, everybody, get your ass to Arrakis now because shit's about to drop. And so the Christopher Walken's character, like the Emperor, and his daughter, who's played by Florence Pugh, they show up on Dune because he's like, yeah, I'm fucking nuts, I'm crazy. And so then, like after they show up, they drop a fucking nuke, and they get the sandworms to come and like eat up everybody, and then it's basically left with like this weird like big spherical like ship that that's on the ground, that's like got the Emperor and the princess and all, and the Baron and Austin Butler's character in it. And basically Paul, Timothy's character, just goes in there, and they're like, don't do anything. He goes, I ain't here to mess with you guys. And then he just kills the Baron Harkonnen, like the fat guy, the guy who like of the family. And then like he's like, all right, here's the deal, we're gonna meet for a peace treaty. And he gives them a location, and they go to this location, and the Emperor shows up, and then he's like, basically, fuck Zendaya. Actually, he probably still thinks like he's probably still in love with Zendaya because it's probably all a plot. But he's like, fuck Zendaya. I want to marry your daughter, the princess, and I'm gonna rule over the universe. And then after I'm done ruling over the universe, we're gonna turn Dune into a paradise. And like everybody's like, yeah, he's the Messiah. And so then like he's like, give me a blade and a challenger. And so then Christopher Walken gives his Austin Butler, he's like, yo, you got to defeat this guy. And so like everybody's watching these two fight. And actually, funny enough, Austin Butler's character is a badass. He's kind of nuts, and he's pretty good at fighting. Like he's really good at fighting. And so now technically he's now like the heir to the Harkonnen throne. So basically he's like, you know what, I got this. I'm gonna kick this. I'm gonna end the Atreides once and for all. You know. So he goes and tries to kill. Like they're fighting like in a 1v1 duel, like just knives and shit. And finally, he stabs Paul, and Paul like gets hit with the knife, and he's like, oh, and everybody's like, no, the Messiah is killed. And then like Austin Butler's character's like, haha, you know, I did it. And then all of a sudden he goes, he like looks down, and he realizes that he didn't hit Paul in a vital spot. He only hit him in the shoulder, and then Paul like got his knife right into the middle of his heart. So then Austin Butler's character's like, "You fought well, Atreides," and then just falls over. And that's kind of why I don't like his character, because I thought it was well, I like his character, but I thought his death was too cliche. And like it was like a 4-minute fight scene, so it was like just straight like no music, just straight like knife to hand combat, which I thought was like, damn, the fact that they could actually get Timmy and Austin Butler to fucking do this is crazy. So it was actually a good scene, and then he dies, and I'm like, damn, I wish he would have done more. Like I wish we would have seen him being more evil. Because like he does a lot of evil shit, like killing people and all this stuff, but like I needed more. Like I needed more of screen time of him to really see like a Joker. And so then like he's like, Timothy Chalamet's character is like, all right, now I'm gonna kill the Emperor, and she's like, and the princess is like, no, don't kill the Emperor. Fine, I'll marry you, and you can run the galaxy. And then he's like, all right. He goes, but first, we're gonna nuke all the spice. We're gonna nuke all the spice fields, and they're like, "What? No!" And then the movie like ends with like this big war starting to break out on Arrakis, and so that is the end of Dune 2. Yeah.
You know what? You know what's funny?
What's funny?
Not funny. I always say that when I'm trying to compare stuff. I need to stop saying funny because some stuff. Anyways, the water of life, that worm blood pee thing.
Yeah.
It's funny because I can tell it's like a reference to acid or DMT. Because I don't know if you ever heard of the study that some people did where they put people in separate rooms that have never taken drugs and like all in a room by themselves and had a control dose given to them where they got high. And when they came out of their trip, they talked about talking to an entity that they called the Clockwork Elves and other things. And all of the participants that were all in rooms by themselves, not being able to talk to any of the other ones, all described the exact same entity, and it all looked the exact same for each one.
Yeah.
They were all talking to the same thing. And I'm like, that kind of makes me reminds me of this worm piss. You talk to it, you talk to this entity, and you can't tell if it's good or evil.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, that I think is interesting, is because in the movie, and this is something that I think is going to get overlooked, is, Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yeah.
Okay, so she actually has a role in this film. She is, funny enough, the baby in the mother's womb, okay? And so when Paul drinks it, and this is something that I think gets overshadowed because a lot of people, they don't really understand messages, which I think is interesting. And this is why I think this water of life is crazy, because not only does, like, when she talks with the voice now, because Paul has this thing called the voice, and so does his mother. And so basically they can, like, command people to do stuff. It's kind of taboo and they don't like to use it, but they'll be like, do this, like that. And they'll do it. And after she drinks the water of life, and after he drinks the water of life, their voice almost gets demonic, like, do this, like that. And so what I was thinking was interesting is when I'm seeing all this like demon writing, like you can see it over her face here, like when you're seeing all this demon writing and stuff like that, I was thinking like, this is like demonic entity. Now, when Paul drinks it, I think what is interesting is once you drink it, you'll see the future and the past. So he can see everything that happened in the past with his family's bloodline. Not like the whole past, but he can just basically see every single family member's bloodline, right? Like, so the Harkonnens and himself, the Atreides. And what I think is interesting is it cuts to like a flash forward. He's like, now I'm going to see the future. And it cuts to a flash forward and you see the dunes, right? And it's all barren and nasty like it is. And then he gets over this hill and it's this majestic, big ocean, like big water ocean. And you see Anya Taylor-Joy's character, which is the daughter, who's older. Now she's like not the baby anymore. She's standing there and she's talking to him and it's like, this is what's going to happen. Are you ready? Like this is, hi brother, I love you so much. This is going to be and I was thinking to myself, I was like, people are going to overlook this because they're going to be like, no way, that's his, that's his sister, like that's his sister. But in reality, it's probably just this entity using what he would imagine as his sister, to talk to him, to try and convince him to do these certain things. And so that's why I think it's all bullshit. And I have a very strong feeling that if I read the books, you'd find out very quickly that the water of life is probably bullshit. So I think it is.
I mean, the movie sounds interesting. I can't wait to actually see it on the screen because, like, even if you spoiled the whole movie it's obviously going to be grand on the epic screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and seeing it in IMAX was immaculate. Like the shots, dude. The shots are so fucking crazy.
Yeah, explain your IMAX experience. Like, how did this go? Like, how beautiful was it?
So in IMAX, dude, it was crazy, and I'm sure it will be just as crazy in just like regular movie theater too. But in IMAX, it was particularly crazy because the screen is so vibrant and so big. And the thing about IMAX is like everything is like heightened to like ultra, so like audio, everything. So like you could hear everything was shaking and everything was like when the bombs are dropping, and it's like, oh my. And seeing it is just, it's almost like indescribable how well like it looks. Like I love the VFX. Like the Dune is actually so good, and the shots are so beautiful. And like seeing all these shots and seeing everything, like, dude, this is, yeah, man, this is a great fucking movie. I'm so excited for like for the third one now in particular. But the theater experience was crazy, dude. Like I walked in, like I got into this like parking lot, and we were like in this like kind of millennial like only parking thing, as I was explaining, like when I saw as I saw the, guy with the Apple Vision Pro. But like when I got to the theater, bro, there's like water fountains and shit outside, like these big ass water fountains and these grand steps to this theater. I was like, Jesus, what the bougie is going on? I get in there, and it's this massive fucking theater, and you got like all this shit, and then you got like a bar and all this other stuff. I'm like, what the? I was like, holy crap, man. Like, this is insane. And then I went and I waited forever because I got there super early because I drove 2.5 hours to go into the theater in IMAX, by the way. And I get there and I watch it, and I got out of the movie and I was just like, whoa. I was like, I'm so glad I went and saw this in IMAX. Trust me, if you're thinking about seeing this movie and you have the opportunity to go see it in IMAX, go see it in IMAX. It is just wow. It is immaculate. And I think another thing that's really interesting too about this movie is the fact is yes, the plot kind of moves a little fast, but there is no problems to me with anything. Like the biggest thing I would think of that I could even consider to be a problem would be like the pacing, and it's not even that big of a deal because they're having to go through so much and so little. So I think it's a really interesting concept, and I think it's like there's no problems at all with it. I really have no problems at all with.
So, with the pacing of the story, would you compare it to, let's say, Lord of the Rings that had to go through so much material in a
Yes.
quick time, but it was still good?
I think honestly, dude, I think this is space. I think this is the sci-fi Lord of the Rings, man. I'm gonna be honest.
Really? All right,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Because when the third movie comes out, you're gonna be able to compare it just like a trilogy, and all three of them are also very long, just like this, and they're trying to do as much as they can from the books, but it's obvious that they can't do it all. So
Because from the sounds of it, it kind of compares to the Two Towers, where you have them basically, you have Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli literally sprinting cross country in a short amount of time to get to the ending battle, and you have to like skip over so much.
yeah, and that's the thing is they skip through so much. For example, Zendaya, and I'm sure the director is gonna come out and say like, yeah, we had to cut a bunch of stuff out, but I hope they make an extended edition because I hope there is a extended edition because I him and Zendaya, at the beginning of the movie, they're kind of like chill, they're like, and then like he's like he like rizzes her up a little bit, and she's like, haha, and then he rizzes her up some more in a different scene, and then she like kisses him, and then it like cuts, and it's like them kind of like they're really close together. He rides this big worm, and then because he finally gets to ride this big worm, then she gets to ride his big worm, so she gives him that. But I think it's really interesting because like then after that sex scene, well, it's not like an actual sex scene, you don't see anything, but like it like cuts to like when they're done and they're like kissing, and you see them, and you're like, oh, okay, so now they're like really together, and he's like, I love you, and I'm not gonna let anybody else fucking, you know but I think it's kind of Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting because then after that point, like you don't really get to see much of them like together like that anymore. And that's just basically for like that's exactly just for this like pacing, which is fine because you already built it up, and then you can kind of see her with just like simple shots of like, like, oh, I I'm like ready, like I'm ready to be done with you now because you're ruining my life. So I think it is kind of interesting, but I will say this. I think it definitely compares. I think that's a great analogy to compare it to like Lord of the Rings. Like this is sci-fi Lord of the Rings, man. Uh and I think the third movie it might have a good fucking climax. So what I don't want to spoil myself for the third movie, but I kind of want to see what the water life actually is. The water.
Nah, wait, bro.
You
Just
think
wait.
I should wait?
You should just wait.
All right. I might have to wait like 3 years.
Because
but...
if you read the book, I mean, even if like you skip through the book and there might be something in the book that could ruin the movie for you. Like just in general of, oh well, that's not how it happened in the book. This is way better. Like don't do it. Just you're enjoying the cinematic experience. Wait to look into the book until after the third movie if it never gets readdressed. Like don't spoil yourself, bro.
Yeah.
That's like the biggest mystery of why you want to watch the third movie. Just wait.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. But see, like I'm gonna forget in 3 years. But it's whatever.
That's good.
So now we gotta wait 3 years for the next one. Well, hey, I was thinking about it. They really didn't waste no time. Dune 1 came out like November 2021. And Dune 2 dropped like yesterday technically. So like that's like not even 3 years. That's like 2.5 years. So hey man.
Don't forget the strikes also kind of probably delayed it a little bit, and we don't have those.
And it sounds like they're expediting to finish Dune 3, because that's his next film. And apparently Timothy and them are already ready, are starting to like go over like script revisions and stuff. So I'm sure they're probably gonna start filming soon, like within like the next couple months. Like I'm gonna guess like November, they're gonna film, and then in December, January, February, March, maybe March they'll be done with filming, edit it. I'm sure it'll drop early 2026. That's my guess. Hot take. It'll drop like February 2026.
All right, let's go.
Speaking of shit that's gonna drop, this Spider-Verse movie. Spider-Verse 3. When is this dropping? So it got pushed back finally, which is good. The threequel has been pushed back indefinitely, and this is still updated 2024. Yeah, the movie was originally set for like the end of this month, so I'm kind of sad. Wait, there's a Venom 3 movie coming out this year? Oh, God.
Oh, there is? Sweet. Let's go. Let's go. Venom. I hope it ties into Madam Web.
They're going to taste my venom. You think it's going to... No way. Wait, what the... Dude, no. Look at this. Look at this. You might have to go full screen for this. Norman Reedus' Aunt May?
What? What?
Look at this.
Aunt May? Bro, Google acting up. We know Google's been acting up lately. You should screenshot that.
I am. I'm going to be like, what the fuck is going on?
That should be the thumbnail for the episode. Just like a big red question mark over it.
Norman Reedus' Aunt May? Look at that. Look at... Dude, Tom Hardy, man. Damn, he's 46? Shit. Played in The Dark Knight. Dude, what has Joseph Gordon-Levitt been doing these days?
I know. That's why I had messaged you that one day. Like, where did this dude go?
Upcoming films. He's got nothing, bro.
Look on his IMDb right there, the first link. What was his new crappy coming out in? He was in Poker Face in 2023.
He was?
Yeah.
Really?
Flora and Son.
He was in Glass Onion, but he was a voice, see? Hourly Dong.
He was the voice for Jiminy Cricket in Pinocchio.
That's crazy, actually.
That's a crappy movie.
Yeah. Dang. Yeah, he was in Knives Out as a voice, too. Dude, what the... This guy's just done with acting, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he came out of nowhere. Like 50-50 was probably like my favorite movie by him.
Really?
And then I was one of the people who liked Looper.
I liked Looper and Inception.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know he was in Inception, but like, Inception, when I think of Inception, I don't think of him. I think of DiCaprio.
Yeah. Do you know what I think is a really good movie?
Have you ever seen 50-50?
No, I don't think I have, but here, there's a movie, Snowden.
Yeah, I saw that movie.
He played Snowden, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he did. It was right there on the page.
Oh, I didn't see it. I was looking through too many things. No, the movie. I don't give a fuck about the actual guy. I forgot Nick Cage is in this movie. That's good. That's funny. No, we watched this for a class. I thought it was kind of opening. The Snowden Files. All right. When we come back, we're gonna have some more yaps to talk about. So stay tuned. Bye. Welcome back to the Beastcast, episode 44. Where we left off, we finished talking about Dune. I knew Dune was probably going to take us a whole 30-minute segment, so that was good. But we're looking at the top movies on IMDb's top 250 movies. And I got to say, man, some of these movies are good, but I disagree with some of these. And this is my personal opinion. But I don't like the good, the bad, the ugly, first off. The ending scene is the only thing that makes that movie good. The rest of that movie is terrible, and not terrible, I shouldn't say that, that's mean. The rest of the movie's mid, and I also think that the first two movies are better than The Good, the Bad, the Ugly in the Dollars trilogy, so bite me. But, no, dude, you see how high ranked Lord of the Rings is, dude? Like, dude, this is how Dune is going to be, bro. Like, I guarantee the other Dune is up here somewhere. Silence of the Lambs is a good movie, by the way. I want to see, what is Dune. First off, some of these movies are so iconic.
I think Dune 1's like a 7.
Really? A 7? It's an 8.
Oh, perfect 8. Okay, my bad. I thought it was like a 7.5 the last time I looked.
But I think the problem with Dune 1, and here's the problem with Dune 1. Dune 1 is the problem with Dune 1 is the pacing. You want to talk about bad pacing? The pacing is terrible. It's so slow. Dune 1 is. Oh, Sting's in this movie, bruh. Did you know that, dude? Did you know Sting's in this movie?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. He's right there, dude. Where's he at? His name is just Sting. He's in Zoolander too. But yeah, Sting is a funny man. He's also
a very funny man.
He's a musician too. Is his name actually just Sting?
No. His name is
Gordon Matthew Thomas Sunner, CBE. Yeah, we can call him Sting.
Yeah, because saying that name hurts the throat.
Yeah. Bro was in a band called Band-Aid. That is crazy. Wait, the Police. What did they drop? God, I feel like I've heard like some of these songs. Roxanne. No, I'm
Don't.
kidding. Roxanne.
I heard the parody of that with Rice. It was funny.
Wait, what's the parody of that?
It's some Asian guy made a parody of it. That was hilarious.
Wait, I gotta hear this. Asian parody of. Hold on, I'll look it up. Also, the guy that sung that song is in jail for like life. This one.
Hold on, no, I forget who made it. I think it was the second one.
This one?
Yeah.
That's Ransom by Lil Tecca.
Oh, well, I don't know which one it is. I guess it's not. I forget who it was by, but it was funny.
Dude, this guy is such a fucking cringe nerd, dude. Why are you doing this in public, bro? Dude, okay, dude. Dude, okay. That is crazy.
Oh, here it is. I found it.
Dude, what the fuck is that?
Okay, I found it. Skip to like 12 seconds. Yeah, it was on your search results. Yeah, it was the third one.
Dude, what the fuck? Oh, that's good. Sting. But okay, so Raven, what about these top 5? I don't know. I've never watched 12 Angry Men, so but The Godfather Part 2, The Dark Knight, The Godfather, and Shawshank Redemption. What do you think?
You want to hear something funny?
What's your funny take?
I've never seen Shawshank Redemption or The Godfather or The Godfather Part 2.
I've never seen The Godfather Part 2. Here's the problem. I have never fully sat through Shawshank Redemption either. But I have sat through The Dark Knight a lot of times. I love The Dark Knight. I've watched Schindler's List. I've watched all 3 of the Lord of the Rings movies. Pulp Fiction, seen. Good, the Bad, the Ugly. Forrest Gump's pretty good. Actually, I fuck with Forrest Gump. I think that movie's kind of funny. Jenny, they must have been looking for something weird because they had the flashlights out looking for they must have dropped something.
It's so sad that Forrest could only get a girlfriend that had AIDS.
Facts, dude. I love how he like didn't die though.
I think the AIDS didn't know what to do with him.
They're like, shit. He's like, this guy is crazy. Inception's 14th, Fight Club's 13th. What do you think about that? What do you know about Fight Club? What's the number 1 rule of Fight Club?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Perfect. Inception? What you know about Inception though?
Dude, Inception was like funny because I'm always a very vivid and avid dreamer. Okay. And like my dreams are crazy, realistic, and detailed. And it was funny to see Inception because I was all like, wait, this isn't normal for you people? Like I've actually went to sleep in my own sleep because of how tired I was.
Dude, okay. My dreams, bro. Nah. Dude, my dreams are crazy. I wrote down one of my dreams one time just so, and I wanted to talk about this on the podcast. I wrote down my dream one time just to show you what type of dreams I get, okay? So, in this dream, my dreams are very vivid, right? Okay. In this dream, this guy long hair, blonde, really long blonde hair. He's a massive guy. Like, I'm talking huge, like, not like fat, but like swole guy. He's trying to brainwash me in my sleep. Like, I keep like sleeping and he keeps trying to brainwash me. And then he got me to download this software onto my computer, right? I'm like, shit. And so I end up realizing that the software is like bad and evil, so I delete it. The moment I delete the software, I go to bed and I wake up with a woman banging on my door, and then this woman comes into my room and she's like, "Nope, Jason, you need to keep that on your computer." And she tries to re-download it, and I fucking get pissed at her and we fight, and I hit her over the head with a crowbar, and I kill her, and then I hide her body. Okay, I hide her body, and then I end up going to a movie, and then the guy is there, like the swole like guy with the long hair, and like I end up trapping him in the movie theater. He tries to trap me, and I end up trapping him in the movie theater, and then I kill him too, and I say, "Don't fuck with me," and then I woke up, and that's all I remember. But
Dude, that wasn't a dream.
dude, do you think that's actually gonna happen, bro?
Dude, you got visited by a Palladian.
Oh, what's a Palladian, huh?
Essentially, very long blonde hair Nordic aliens.
Oh, wait, I want to look this up. Palladian. How do you spell it? Oh, I see. Oh,
No, yeah, the top, that one that you had your.
this one?
Yeah.
This is a music band though, but I'll just put ghost behind it. Or
Alien.
Spirit. Alien. The IRS?
Yeah, go look, pull up the images, bro.
I was gonna say. Oh, it's these things. Wait, dude, these are dope. Actually, honestly, okay, Raven, hot take. If aliens looked like this, hey, life ain't that bad.
Dude, you can look it up yourself. In 1950s, it was either 57 or 54, a woman was on the UK news because of an encounter she had with a UFO on her farmland, and she described essentially the people in the cockpit looking exactly like that. Blonde hair, beautiful faces.
Dude,
it's a really famous interview of her because you could tell she was genuine about it.
Ancient aliens. But dude, if they looking like this, that's AI generated. But like, dude, I mean, life ain't that bad, bro. Honestly, I kind of, if aliens were good like this, like think about it. If aliens are coming here and they're just like picking people up, I mean, yeah, they're probably evil or whatever. But dude, that means, dude, honestly, I would love for that to be real. Because if that's real, that means that somebody has the power to actually travel through space like that. And that by itself is amazing. Like, I don't care if the aliens are bad. Like, I don't care if this bitch comes and she then blasts me like a fucking space ray and I'm dead, Like, dude, if that happens, bro, you know what? I know that the universe has somebody that's crazy. And like, honestly, Loki, I tried to bargain. I'd be like, bro, we need to learn your stuff. Let's cross races here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that always gets me with aliens is like, I don't know, man. I don't know about the whole like being so humanoid thing. I feel like surely like it is probably a pretty decent shape. Like we're a pretty decent shape, but we're like a very genetically disorganized organism. Like our eyes are shit. Our body kind of sucks. We have a lot of problems when it comes to like breathing and respiratory and getting diseases. Like I feel like you wouldn't want to be us, Also, Earth is a pigsty, so that's the thing. Aliens probably don't even want to come here anymore because they're like, shit, look at all these stupid big cities and shit. This ain't worth it. It's not beautiful anymore.
Why do you think they try to control the government?
So they can destroy the big cities?
No, so that they can try to make it better.
Ooh. You know what? If they're trying to make the planet better, though, low-key, good for them. If they can make the planet better, if they can convince these fucking humans and make the planet better, it's their planet because we can't do it. We can't get the humans to do it. So if somebody can, they earn it. They earned it.
Bro, I sent you a link to the lady's interview. Put it at 2:42.
Is it gonna like show me a picture?
No, it's just it's an old interview from 1954.
Whatever it was, they could see me anyway, and I could see them.
It's the description of what she said that she
They
saw.
had beautiful faces. I shall never forget their faces as long as I live. Their foreheads seemed to be a bit larger than, you know, the bottom of their faces as normal people you would expect to see. But maybe this was just whatever they had around their heads, which was like a transparent fishbowl. And they just looked, and I was absolutely paralytic with fear. I couldn't move, although my mind was ticking over. And they looked so sympathetic that I was just mesmerized for what seemed to be, ages, but it could have only been seconds. And I turned to sort of look down at the boys, was unaware that they were with me because I was so absorbed. And the next thing, I looked up and it was gone.
How low had it been?
It had been the height, I couldn't tell you. But the house that you've seen, it was just on top of the roof.
Yeah. Okay, so I skipped too far ahead. She had already mentioned the blonde hair, but it was funny because she describes kind of like what we put on astronauts, the big fishbowl around their heads too.
The thing,
and of course, this is after World War II, where more UFO sightings were had after we took in scientists.
See, but the other thing that I think is always really interesting about this time period that I think is really interesting is a lot of people, when it comes to like aliens and stuff like that, I find it so funny that during the 1950s we get this influx of like UFO sightings and like descriptions of UFOs and stuff like that. And the best part about that I always find really funny is like the 1950s, dude. This is like when like sci-fi like blows up. Like this is when sci-fi takes off too. So like I always think like the thing that I find is funny is it's just like this is just all like easy inspiration for movies. It's just easy. Mm-hmm. It's just easy to make movies after. And then like some people, you know, like some people are just delusional too. Some people are crazy, but I think that's interesting.
The point is, bro, you got visited by a blonde alien. I'm very sorry.
Nah, well, I killed him, so.
You should have. Well, exactly. They cleaned up the mess before you woke up.
But like, here's the thing, dude. Dude, that is actually a crazy thing to think about. Like, you're in your dream, and like you're at your dorm or at your house, your apartment, and you do all this shit, and then you wake up and it's normal, and you're like, whoa. But then like it actually did happen. Like you look in your closet, there's a body. You're like, whoa.
Or at least a drop of blood they forgot to clean up.
Yeah.
Like a singular little drop of blood. You're like, wait a minute.
You're like, whoa. Dude, no, I want aliens to be real so badly, because if they're like this, bro, they're obviously like, if they haven't invaded us yet, they're obviously not going to anytime soon. And they have the power to move through the cosmos. So, man, you know, hit me up. Give me a jingle. I want to go see.
The reason why I don't think that they can't look like this is because, according to a lot of reports, if they're real, they've been abducting humans for centuries now. I'm pretty sure they have the technology to grow a few of their own.
So you think they have like you think they're growing humans?
Yeah, imagine the movie. Maybe it's just like the movie Avatar. They're up there in their fucking UFO in a little bed controlling a body down here.
Ooh. Now that's some crazy conspiracy shit, Raven. That's the shit we like to hear.
Where do you think the inspiration for Avatar came from? James Cameron knows some people.
James Cameron is a fucking alien. The aliens are trying to kill James Cameron so badly.
He's just revealing it to you slowly.
Pandora's real. That's why the movie took 10 years to come out.
Exactly. They had to screen what was acceptable.
James, I'm a little concerned about your accuracy. I think your film's too accurate to society. I think you might have to tone down the realism a little bit, James.
That's funny.
We want them to think it's fantasy, so make it fantastic.
Fantasy, but still open-minded to the idea when it's revealed.
Fantasy. You know what? I got a rap battle about a fan. These raps are only for the fan to see. Oh.
Oh, I'm dying of cringe. I think that killed my liver.
Study claims obesity has overtaken hunger as the greatest global health threat.
So how about we gather all the obese people and we liposuction the fat into those who are starving?
Dude, Raven, you're definitely like the idea. Like I wrote that in my book one time. Funny enough, in one time, like as if like I only did it one time. I wrote it in my book. You can actually find it somewhere. I don't know where it is. But Karen, one of her things that she talks about is it's like she's like, oh yeah, I got a deal. I know how we can solve homelessness. She goes, I know how we can solve homelessness and world hunger, but probably wouldn't like my idea. That's definitely you, Raven. You're definitely that guy.
I try to be.
Yeah, I could definitely, dude. I could kill two birds with one stone.
We're just redistributing the weight.
It's like that's actually funny enough. That is literally an episode of Doctor Who.
It is?
Pretty much that exact thing. There's an episode of Doctor Who where the Americans start taking pills because they're getting obese, and so they start taking pills, and the pills start turning into these like little things that grow legs, and the fat walks away is what it's called, and they just turn into these the fat just falls off your body, grows legs and a face, and just walks away, and they all conform into like this big creature, and then the doctor's got to like be like, he's got to stop it. It's kind of funny.
That's funny.
Dude, back in the day, dude, the Doctor Who writers actually used to be good. Like, they actually used to write. And stuff actually mattered. Now all they care about is fucking stupid shit, man, I swear. Like, look, I'm all for, like, having an episode about Rosa Parks and Doctor Who, but it's also a British TV show, so I don't think we need American politics in a British TV show. I think it's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. That's why British people stopped liking Doctor Who. It's like, yeah, it's cool to have an episode about that because it's like a big piece of history. But also, like, there was a whole season of Doctor Who where it was just like basically like American politics, just shitting on American politics, and it's just like the British people just fucking stopped watching it. They're like, this is stupid. Like, nobody gives a fuck, man.
Yeah.
So,
which is strange because they like they always, as we hear from Smoke Sauce, like to crap all over our politics. So it's weird they wouldn't like it.
Yeah. Well, no, it's crazy because they always shit on our politics, right? They always and this is for all you UK listeners. You guys need to grow a pair of fucking nuts, okay? You guys can laugh and joke all you want about American politics, but at the end of the day, the moment you bring up British politics, it's fucking just as gross. Like, it's crazy how shitty UK politics is. Nobody, you want to talk about there being a divide in America? There's not a single soul that has the same political opinion in the UK. Every single person has a different fucking idea. Not a single soul has the same idea. So you want to talk about there being a divide in America? Yeah. Your politics is fucking dog shit, man. You guys can't even fucking get a goddamn prime. You guys can't even agree upon a prime minister.
All they do is put rap battles in the parliament. Like, I don't understand.
All they do is eat hot chip and lie. No, dude. They put rap battles in the parliament. We should grandfather in like rap battles. Like, you have to be able to like diss the opponent. Donald Trump, more like Donald Dump. Hey, got him on my grump. Hey. You know? Joe Biden diss track. Joe Biden is literally the worst. I've heard better from a hearse. I am the greatest of all time. My name is DT, and I'm ready to fly. It's like a shitty poem.
My name's Biden. I'm the sniffinator, because I be smelling that bullshit.
Dark Brandon on the mic. Don't even know what's up. I'm gonna give you like fucking Donald Trump. Gonna truck Donald Trump.
Everybody's tuned out of the episode by now. We're good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right. Nobody's listening. They're always listening. The FBI agent's like, damn, that shit goes crazy. Spit your shit. Spit your shit. You think the FBI agent has to listen to every single episode of this because you're in it?
Yeah. Shout out to my FBI agent. Hit me up. I got some ideas.
Dude, I was gonna say I know how we can make the FBI better. It's called targeting, and we should target certain people like we used to do back in the 60s. I think that'd be kind of funny as a joke.
As a joke.
Yeah, we're just joshing around.
In the Minecraft server.
Look, yeah, many men wish death upon me, so trust me. Sometimes the ops, they come after me, but we chilling, we chilling. Do the little surfer thing. Raven, do you think there should be an age cap on the presidency?
Yeah.
I agree.
Only on the president, but not the vice president.
I agree.
Nobody cares about that.
Yeah, I think the vice president. I think the vice president. The thing is, the vice president always has like so little restrictions on it too. So I think it would just be stupid. I think the president should be 35 to 65, 30-year gap. If you turn 60, here's the thing, and it's not like you get like kicked out of office. You have to run, okay? You have to run before you're 65. So if you announce your presidency at 65 and then you turn 66 as you becoming the president, that's fine. But if you are like 66 years old and you're announcing your presidency, you can't do that. You can't run.
For me, what I would like is for the vice president. Okay, how do I start this? Okay, you know how when we watch like those medieval movies, how there's always that young king, but there's like that old advisor, because some old people are actually wise and not the boomer mentality. It would be nice if we had like a young president that's like 35, 40, but then there's still a vice president that is above 60 that is actually wise, and that the vice president does more than just not exist and be stupid. The vice president's like, hey, let me give you this perspective as like the wise advisor.
You want to know my opinion? Okay, first off, by the way, you just described Lyndon B. Johnson, by the way, and look at how that ended for JFK, I want to point out. So that was JFK's whole thing, is he's like, Lyndon B. Johnson's a teacher. He's a good guy. I'll put him as a vice president. And then Lyndon was like, hey, I'll slide you a couple $100 if you take his head off. But no, I'm kidding. That's just all allegations, just speculation. But that's basically how JFK ran for president. Lyndon B. Johnson was 65. He was older, But here's the thing that I think is interesting, okay? This is my hot take. So back in the day when the original founding fathers, everybody always likes to talk about Second Amendment, the founding fathers knew exactly what they were talking about. But then other times it's the second, dude, that was written so long ago, nobody knows what they're talking about. And funny enough, sometimes it's the same people that say that shit too, which I think is ironic. But the founding fathers had an idea for the vice president to be the runner-up to the president. So basically, whoever was the president, whoever got second in the polls, okay, became the vice president. And the reason for this was because then you kind of had a double council, right? So the vice president isn't necessarily that powerful, right? But the vice president also splits ties in the House, in the Senate, which was kind of the problem, which is why Thomas Jefferson changed it, because he was like, I can't get anything done because if it comes down to a tiebreaker, it's over. He's just going to vote, he's going to veto it and it's going to be done. He's going to vote against it. So, Aaron Burr was a douchebag, by the way. So shout out to Aaron Burr. But so Thomas decided to change it to, you just pick whoever. I don't think there should be a pick whoever. I really don't. I don't think it should be I really don't think it should be like a voting either, because I think having to vote for two different is crazy. I think what should happen though is I think it should be whoever was the previous president. And here's why. I know this sounds kind of stupid, right? I know this sounds super stupid that the whoever was the president before can elect to become the vice president. Now, I also think it should be a choice. If they don't want to be the vice president, if they don't want to be the vice president, then they don't have to be, right? Like they're like, no, I did my 8 years or I did my 4 years, I'm done. Okay, that's whatever. But here's what I think should be done. I think that the president, who was former, right? You vote him in, right? You vote in the new president, right? And then let's say, for example, Donald Trump would be the vice president right now. But here's the thing. To prevent people from just being like, I'll pay you a couple $100 if you kill him so I get another 4 years. The vice president now does not become the president in standing after the president is dead. I think that should go to the Speaker of the House. I don't think the vice president, and I think they should I think they should be the vice president no matter what. Which means that if the Speaker of the House, right? So let's say the vice president, instead of the vice president becoming the president, right? They are, regardless of what happens to the president, they are still the vice president. They will never change. They will always be the vice president. The president gets his head blown off, boom. Vice president, still vice president. Speaker of the House goes in. Speaker of the House then gets his head blown off. All right, well, now we need to look at the vice president because he's probably doing this. But I don't think the vice president should be able to become into the president. But then I also think it should be somebody who plays from the original presidency. Now, I also do think that choosing your own vice president is a terrible idea, and I don't think we should do that. I think we need to get rid of that because it just becomes a chaos. So, yeah.
Vote JJ 2024.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm not old enough to run, but neither are you.
What do you mean?
You're not old enough to run for president. You're not 35.
I can always lie like every other one.
Nobody's going to look at me and be like, he's 35.
Okay, well, I could lie about me. I hear presidents are good at forging birth certificates.
Yeah. Well, with that, thank you for watching the Beastcast. We appreciate it. As always, you can find us everywhere. You can find us Spotify, YouTube, all that good shiz. You know how it is. You know how we roll. And yeah, so maybe tonight a plebeian will come to your dream and give you a little smooch on the lips. So yeah. Raven, any final things?
Enjoy the beautiful month of March.
Yes, it is beautiful. Shout out to ExxonMobil for having us for now making the country be 65 degrees in February. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.